of you said, what will you do to assure that the bylaws will be followed accurately so that the people's voice will be heard and that the votes counted accurately?
Do I get to go first? Okay. State party rules are very important. You know, it's kind of like when you're raising your children. If you have boundaries for them and you stick to your boundaries, they become secure in those boundaries. When you tell your children that you don't get to, you know, you don't put your elbows on the table, those might not seem very important, but you know what? Ultimately in life it will benefit them. I believe state party rules are very important and they should be followed, and that we should respect those rules, and that we should also, all of us, understand the rules. So that's important that you then have a copy of the rules. That's kind of where we go. Enlightenment through knowledge of what you're expected to live by is very important. So I think the party rules need to be at least given to all of those activists who are out there, especially all of the county elected officials and the county officers. They need to know those, and then we do need to have training. But wouldn't it be great to have a dialogue on areas we don't understand so that we can at least know what they mean, and then we can live by those? But yes, bylaws and rules are very important. But on top of that, I think you do need operating procedures sometimes to talk about the nitty-gritties that you don't have in your rules. It's kind of like in the legislature, you put the laws together and then the agencies define how they're going to implement those rules. Maybe we need to look at something like that so we do have in process and in place so people understand how things are done. But I just think the rules are very important to be followed.
Yeah, I think it's very important that we adhere to the rules. I will tell you that a lot of counties, especially the smaller counties, have kind of done things a certain way, and one of the things that we need to do is we need to update our rules, because there are certain things that come up in the fact, if there's dispute within a county, there's no mechanism really to dissolve that or to resolve that. And so you see counties out there that are foundering because there's a dispute among, and different ones don't know what to do. We as a state party can't go in and tell a county what to do. You know, we can ask them to follow the rules, and that it's a bottom-up party. But I will tell you that I think that we need to be able to have something like maybe the district has the ability to go in and help diffuse a situation, so we make sure that a county doesn't get into a situation where the party suffers because different people have different interpretations, and we need to have something like that in the rules and start looking at better ways of making sure that things are operating more smoothly.
This also spoke to you. There's two here that close to the same. One says, what have both of the candidates done to support Republican candidates in the 2nd District? And along with that, how many candidates have you personally visited? There's a two-part question there.
Well, back when Gene Stein resigned and Jess Davis, we basically came down and ran the grassroots operation for Jess. We brought homeschool kids in, brought some other people in, went door to door, knocking doors in Stigler and McAllister, and incidentally, Jess won Stigler and McAllister. I've worked at actually designed mailers for Jess Davis that went out that were very effective. We've worked throughout the district. I'm trying to think of all the candidates in the 2nd District, of course. Kenny Sherrill. Of course, we came down and met with Kenny Sherrill. I was there when he had his fundraiser. I personally contributed to Kenny Sherrill. We maxed out to his campaign. We did what we could to get volunteers to volunteer for that campaign. We encouraged donors to contribute to his campaign, and I think we helped very much in that effort. But we've also gone out in particular areas and recruited. I was very much involved in getting Dr. Cox to run for the seat up in Delaware County. In fact, we encouraged Dr. Cox, who's going to run for the Senate, we encouraged him to run for the House instead of the Senate. In fact, at the Delaware County Lincoln Day dinner, Dr. Cox says his wife, every time he mentions my name, says, "You're the reason he's there." Because we talked him into running for the House, which was a more winnable seat for him, instead of being involved in a three-way primary for the Senate. And he won, and he's won ever since then. And we want to continue to do that. One of the things we've done a very good job of is going into a particular district and analyzing it, seeing the numbers of whether or not it's a winnable district. And winnable doesn't mean registration. It means voting patterns. Is there a pattern that people will support a particular Republican? Maybe it's the president. Maybe it's the senator or whoever. And by doing that and analyzing that and really understanding it, finding people that meet the district, that fit the district, by doing that, we'll be successful.
Are we talking just second district or the entire state?
Well, I think second district on what you've done to support Republican candidates in the second district, but also how many candidates have you
Okay.
personally?
Give you a couple examples. I've only been vice chair not even quite 2 years yet, and in the 2 years I talked to different candidates, and when they have been kind of not sure if they wanted to run and what was the lay of the land, I've talked to a number of them. I got to tell you, I'm not really sure if they were in second district or not, because I'm not really sure. All I know is every candidate who calls me, I talk to them, and I make sure they know the ins or outs. And guess what I always do is I encourage them to run. I'll give you an example of somebody a while back who decided to run, and nobody would talk to him. And I went and visited with him, and he said, I really want to run for this Senate seat, but nobody's giving me encouragement. And there was a Democrat who was term limited the next time, but this time he really wants to run against him. And I said, run against him. It's good to put your name on the ticket, and you'll get to know what you're doing. Well, guess what? The Democrat got beat in the primary, so this guy ended up coming up, and his name is Senator Cliff Aldridge. And those are the things I've done for 20-some years. Dan Arnett, when he called me, I emailed and we talked, and I said, but then guess what I did? I didn't just try to do things for him myself. I sent him over to Joe, because I think it's more important that a candidate go to work with the people they're going to work with and represent, and then we come in and help as we can. I went down and worked with Kenny Sherrill. I went several times to work for Kenny. There are other people. I've gone to Poco and different places to talk to people who won't even consider running. But I go over and talk to them because it's important to have a Republican on the ballot, a sheriff, etc. Guess what? In 2008, we elected more Republican sheriffs than the Democrats because we finally put Republicans on the ballot. Russell's a good example of somebody we finally think we kind of browbeat you into going, would you run for it? Would you please run for it? And he goes, they got a chance, and then he said he's won. Now we need to support him and make sure he knows he's not out there by himself. That's the important thing we can do. Second district, I don't know the boundaries. I can tell you the boundaries for Oklahoma because I've been all over the state helping them recruit and elect and work as hard as I can to make sure we have Republicans on the ballot.
This is the last question, and you may have already answered this one. How do you plan to help the county recruit?
I help the Republican Party with my children. You know, to keep the children at home all the time and support them. You help them become supportive. And that's what I want to do with the county. And I've done that in the past. As when I was Oklahoma County Sheriff and I was in this district, I've done that. On OFRW, I've done that to try to go out and help them become self-sustaining, self-supportive, and kind of like, you can walk on your own. We will help you get there to walk. And what's happened, though, in these counties, as you go and you help them become more confident in their work, and they can brainstorm with you to go, okay, how do we do that? And I don't know what works always in Stillwell, Oklahoma, but I do know what works in other counties up there that I've lived close to. Terra, Oklahoma is it's been very rural. It's becoming a part of the suburban area. My parents own 100 acres. My parents farm that land. We go out there. How does that work? It's one-on-one relationship. We have to encourage all of our counties. How do we build one by one by one? And before long, that's how an army is built. It's not built overnight. It's built when you keep working. And I am somebody who will keep encouraging you and contacting you and communicating with you and answering questions. That's what I've done for 20 years, and it's been very successful with those who want help. I'm willing to give them the help.